everybody! Welcome back to my channel! If you don't know who I am, my name is Alice and I enjoy doing reviews. I recently did a coffee review that was a little bit late getting out, but you should definitely check it out, especially if you are a fan of Starbucks coffees and particularly Starbucks blonde coffees. I reviewed the Starbucks Christmas blonde roast as well as the Starbucks veranda roast, which is also a blonde. But today I am going to be doing a bit of a shorter review for you. It's another candy review, and yes, it is another strange M&M review. So a little backstory, I started doing these reviews because my workplace, I work in a grocery store, was giving out these M&Ms as a way to say thank you to their employees, and just between you and me, they are the M&Ms that don't sell very well. They're kind of like odd flavors and just kind of experimental M&Ms that the company put out. Now, my work didn't give me these M&Ms, but they were on mega sale probably because they weren't selling very well. So today we are going to be trying the cherry cupcake, the cherry chocolate cupcake M&Ms. So as you can see, they espouse to having chocolate in them, but also cherry flavor. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't really like fruit flavors with my chocolate. I've never been a fan of like raspberry chocolate, cherry chocolate, even strawberry chocolate, which I would say is like the most palatable for me. Just not a huge fan of. But these were pretty much, I mean, they weren't free, but they were on mega sale, like I said. I didn't have to pay very much for them. And there was only like a whole bin of them left because people weren't really hepped on buying them. Now, I try to be as impartial as possible. I try to give everything a fair chance. They had these caramel cold brew M&Ms that I did a review of, and actually those were fairly good. The lemon meringue pie ones were not that great, though I did keep them for another review, my coffee review, just to see if they would go well with the coffee, which actually they kind of went well with the Christmas blonde roast. These, however, I'm really questioning how good they're going to taste, considering I don't really like fruit flavors with my chocolate, and also the cupcake part of them is making me curious as to how, you know, they're gonna taste, because the lemon meringue pie had sort of a wafer taste to them. So I'm imagining that these are gonna be maybe a little bit like that. But as you can see, they have the little pattern on the top here, kind of just a, you know, kind of a bland M&M packaging. They have the little M&M guy on the front here with the cupcake and the cherry on top. As far as fruit flavors go, I think cherry is probably one of my least favorite fruit flavors. So again, keeping all that in mind, let's see how well these taste. Now, unlike the other package, these actually have 210 calories as opposed to the 180. So a little bit of a calorie increase for a bag of these. I suppose they were supposed to be kind of a promotion for Valentine's Day. And yeah, they kind of, whoa, whoops. They kind of look a little bit different than the average M&Ms. I dropped a few of them on the floor there, but I'll clean those up later. Kind of more like darker reds, and you can see a brown one in there. But they still look like your classic M&M. They still look like an M&M, the little M on the front there. So let's just give these a little bit of a try. Okay, very interesting. I don't immediately hate these. I don't immediately hate them. Have you guys ever had those chocolate covered cherries that they sell? These taste just like that. I'm not sure where the cupcake factors in. All I taste is the cherry and the chocolate and kind of that M&M crunchy topping on the top of it there. But I'm not sure where they're getting cupcake at. Definitely chocolate covered cherries. As far as like chocolate and fruit goes, chocolate covered cherries, they're not my favorite, but they're not like bad. They're not like you can't like stomach them, but definitely not my favorite. It's kind of like chocolate covered strawberries. It's just fruit and chocolate for me just doesn't really work. Sorry about the whistling in the background. But, you know, these actually, they're not bad. They actually do taste like M&Ms. They're kind of like that chocolate chewiness that the M&M has. It doesn't have a wafer in the middle of it. Not such a prominent cherry flavor at all. In fact, these are a little bit less subtle than the lemon meringue pie M&Ms that I had the other day for the coffee review. They taste like M&Ms. They have the chocolate flavor of M&Ms, but there's just a hint, well, a little bit more than a hint, of cherry in them. So honestly, I would say these actually aren't that bad. They're not as bad as, I apologize. They're not as bad as some of the other M&Ms I have tried on here. Honestly, these actually, I could see picking up a bag of these and trying them out. But if you were someone who But if you are someone who really liked M&Ms and wanted like that M&M chocolate fix, I don't know, these might do it for you, they might not. If you really like chocolate covered cherry, I could see these working out. But other than that, I don't know. They're just different enough to where it would be kind of like, oh, you know, what's this? I feel like what I said with the lemon meringue M&Ms, if you were to have like a Valentine's Day spread and have like, say, these M&Ms in a bowl, I think that would go pretty well. Someone's into whistling. I can't explain it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this very impromptu, very quick review. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, these M&Ms might still be available in your area if you want to give them a try. Definitely know what you're getting into though, that cherry flavor is going to be, you know, pretty prominent in the M&M, but so is the chocolate. And as I said, I'm not sure where they're getting Cupcake. These didn't really scream Cupcake to me, but you know, honestly, they're not terrible. I'm gonna say that, they're not terrible. Anyway, please stay tuned for more reviews I'll have in the future. And again, sorry about the whistling. I will see you guys later. Bye.